podcast. Today, I have the honor to be here with one of the most prominent student leaders on campus. So, with that being said, do you mind introducing yourself for the people that don't know?
Of course. So my name is Rachel Mahowski. I'm from Kent Island, Maryland. I really look forward to being here today and just
Yes, we look forward to having you as well. So, just as a base question, what made you choose Frostburg State as your place of higher education?
So I have family who went here. One of my cousins went here, and she graduated right before I started here. She had nothing but good things to say. There's a lot to do outside, and I really like being outside. So it's like, might as well try it out. And if it doesn't work out, I can always try something else.
Same. My sister went here as well. We're from Prince George's County, Maryland, which is a little more suburban area. She decided to branch out and to go to college in a more rural, mountainous setting. I decided to follow her in her footsteps, and I kind of glad that I did that because I get to see a different scenery and just be around something different. Are you involved in any organizations here on campus?
I am. I'm the president of the Student Government Association, the secretary of Alpha Phi Omega, the vice president of administration for fraternity and sorority life, a member of the President's Leadership Circle, Frostburg's Transform Mid-Atlantic Civic Fellow, and the University System of Maryland Student Council.
Wow, so it seems like you're always busy, always on the go.
Yeah, but I really love just like helping students and talking to students and trying to make positive change. So I really enjoy everything I do. So it doesn't feel like a job. It just or like a role on campus. It's fun doing it and helping others and getting to talk with people.
Gotcha. What led you to join the Student Government Association?
Well, I didn't do it in high school, so when I came into Frostburg, I immediately knew that that was something I wanted to get involved in and just try it out. And I quickly fell in love with it, the people that were involved with it, and noticed that I really wanted to be a leader on campus, so wouldn't trade it.
What role does the Student Government Association play for students here who may not know?
So SGA is the liaison for the student body to administration. So what our role is here is to talk with the students and try to get their voice because ultimately we're representing them. So I do everything I can in the Lane Center every day. I'm kind of like always posting on social media, like come check out this organization or come check out this organization. I'm always supporting all their fundraisers and going out to their events in the evenings. I really look forward to that. So basically, yeah, it's just getting their voice and transferring that to administration and figuring out what it is we can do to make change on campus where the students want to.
Gotcha. That's very beautiful. As far as students wanting to get in contact with SGA, with you being the president, are they allowed to come directly to you, or do you have like a system set up in place where it's other people who are delegated those jobs and tasks before it reaches you?
So I would love to hear from any student. I'm open to that, and I really like that one-on-one interaction where I can directly help address their concern, hear them out, and direct them to where they need to go, and ultimately help answer their question in the long run. I'll even give out my phone number. Like I'm very open, Monday to Friday, even like Saturday and Sunday, 24/7. Like if anybody needs anything at any time, I would love to help them out in any way possible. But if I'm not available, they can always go to Lane University Center, office 223, and that's the SGA office. And our administrative assistant, she's awesome, Lacey. She's always in there Monday to Friday. But yeah, it's a collaborative group effort. But like I said, I really love talking to students and seeing what I can do to help them.
Yeah. So, if anybody was interested in joining SGA, is there anything that they can do to be a part without actually being an executive board member? Because I would assume that all those positions are already filled.
Of course. So we do have a couple of spots available on SGA right now. It's an interview process. It's very casual. We just ask you a couple of questions. It's usually like no more than 10 minutes. They just come in, they sit down with a couple of people from our exec board and our governance committee, which is like a subcommittee within SGA. And it's just a casual interview. And as long as like you show us that you want to make positive change on our campus, there's really no reason why we wouldn't allow you to do that because we want to make sure that every student has a voice and that we're allowing them. But to another part is students can still be involved with us. Right. So we have our general body meetings every other Thursday. It's at 7 p.m. in the Lane University Center Atkinson room, where that's a really good place for students to bring comments and concerns. I just take a list, and then after that, I really reflect on it and make sure that I answer every single concern and make sure that they're all addressed. We also bring in notable speakers on campus, such as we had Ashley Daniels, who's the Associate Director of Student Life here in the Lane Center. She comes in and she talked to us during Women's History Month, and she advocates for the Lane University Center, as well as like the alternative break. civic engagement. So there's a lot that we do, and we bring them in. Last night we had Dr. Nowacek, who's the current president of the university, come in and just speak with students and have that open dialogue where anybody could just ask him a question. So we're really open to doing everything we can to make sure the students feel heard.
Got you. Just so we're clear for the students that may be out there watching, when you talk about questions, comments, concerns, can I come to SGA and say, "Oh man, my professor, I don't like their teaching style." Is that something SGA can help with, or what are like some of the specifics so students know what to come to SGA and ask?
So I'm never like, there's never any dumb questions or anything, like whether like we have a committee for it or not on campus. I'm always really happy to just answer those questions. It doesn't matter what it is, what it revolves around. That's what I'm here for, to support you in any way that I possibly can. So I'd be more than happy to talk with anybody, even if it's about where they feel like, they dislike their professor for these reasons. So yeah, come to me with anything you need, and I'm going to do everything I can to help.
I'm glad to hear that. I really am.
Thank you.
So as far as leadership goes, how would you describe your leadership style, and how does it influence your role as a president of the Student Government Association?
I would say I'd probably describe my leadership style as very direct. I like the in-person conversations. I like the one-on-one interactions. And I really like incorporating my team. So, for example, in SGA, when we have concerns and comments, I always make sure that we talk as an executive board and make sure that we're exploring all possible outlets, and making sure that everybody has their opinion that can be shared, and we work together respectfully and professionally to kind of make sure that we come up with a collaborative effort. So it's really important to have that direct interaction, but I really like to make sure that this is a team effort. This isn't just me. I definitely couldn't be where I'm at today without everybody else who has been here and supported me, like Haley Unger. She's the current vice president. She's amazing. So everybody just does a really good job. So yeah.
Nice. What challenges have you faced in your leadership position, and how have you overcome them?
I think that one challenge that I've faced is just being a first generation student in general. So coming into Frostburg, I really didn't know much about college, but I immediately came in and jumped into SGA and a couple other student organizations. And I definitely think that it was a little overwhelming at first to figure out not only how to balance like college life, but as well with the undergraduate extracurricular activities.
Right.
But I think that just talking with my advisors and talking to student leaders, like, because the senior leaders that were in my place, where we're now currently in their place now, and just asking them advice and taking it and figuring out what works. So, and I always like to think you can't succeed without failure. So it's really important to have those challenges. And I think it's just how you overcome them.
Good. So speaking of challenges and overcoming adversity, we're going to talk about mental health. Mental health is an important topic. Over the past couple of years, it's been gaining notoriety. So, a lot of people have been taking mental health a little more serious and everything. So with that being said, with you being the president of SGA, I can only assume that, there's some days that it may feel overwhelming, or, like you said, you're also a full-time student. By the way, what's your major?
I'm a double major in law and society with a focus in legal studies and Spanish.
So you're a double major.
Yes.
I'm a law and society major too, by the way. I'm a double major in law and society and sociology. So you're a double major. You're an SGA president. You mentioned a plethora of organizations you're also involved in besides Student Government Association. What is your routine to be able to stay on top of everything as far as your mental health and not getting overwhelmed and not, feeling like it's too much?
I definitely prioritize my academics first. I do all my homework at the very beginning of the week. I definitely don't procrastinate. And it kind of sucks when you're doing it like all in one day at one time. But I feel like that's a good balance, because then I can spend the week studying if I have an exam without having to worry about other assignments. And I also have time for extracurricular activities. So I feel like that works for me, but I definitely try to take some time away and do things that I enjoy. I love taking a drive. I love eating ice cream. So those are just the kind of things that I do when I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I'll talk with other students, which I really enjoy. And don't be afraid to go to counseling. Like, as SGA president, like, I'm not afraid. I go to counseling every single week at our student counseling center. That's also a really good time to get out kind of like what you're feeling and the struggles you are facing to help overcome them. So I think that this is really important, how you bring up mental health and having this outlet. I kind of feel like there is a stigma around going to counseling sometimes, and just like where it's like I'm not ashamed of it. I'm more than proud to say it because that's how I work through my challenges and that's how I overcome them. So I would say it's very important.
So you would say you're an advocate for counseling. You definitely recommend students to go to it and everything.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Is there any hobbies or anything that you do that you may like to do? Some people like to go to the gym, some people like to play sports, some people like to play video games. Just something for you, your own personal time to be able to balance your mental. Do you mind giving me some examples of that?
Yeah, I'm a big gym girl. I have like a small upcoming fitness page on Instagram. It's kind of like a friends and family followers type thing. So I go to the gym just about every single day. I'm big into lifting weights. I actually have a sponsor code with Bucked Up. It's Rachel09. Really? So if you use my code, you get 10% off. And if you spend it like you're spending a little bit more money, I can get you a little bit more money off. But yeah, the gym is definitely a good way for me to decompress after a long day.
That's my outlet too. What's your favorite lift in the gym?
I like arms and abs. That's about all I hit. That's a terrible thing. I don't ever do legs. Arms and abs, that's my favorite thing.
Skip leg day?
I skip leg day.
Oh, wow. Do you do any cardio, like any treadmill, elliptical, anything like that?
No, I always want to like run. Like I've always wanted to do like a 5K and stuff, but I don't know. I just can't get into it.
Definitely. No, I'm glad you touched on that though, because I definitely agree. I feel like the gym is my outlet as well. A lot of times, a lot of people start, going to the gym for the physical benefits, which is very reasonable, right? But for me, it's more of a mental aspect. I look at the physical benefits as just an addition to that, because in the gym, like you said, I can decompress, I can unwind, and I feel like I could take the stress of having physical restraint on my muscles, kind of takes it off my mind a little bit, if that makes sense. So there's a direct correlation there that works for me as well. So this is creative mind, so we got to talk about your creativity a little bit. So what role does creativity play for you as a president at SGA? So how do you be able to come up with different programs or events or just anything to get students to want to be a part of the Student Government Association?
Yeah, I think creativity plays a really big role in kind of like my roles on campus. Like I said earlier, I'm always trying to figure out what more I can do to go above and beyond for all of our students. I'm very active with the students, like I said, going to their events, talking to them in the Lane Center, supporting their fundraisers. So I would just say, like, I'm always kind of thinking of those ideas. I'm trying to listen to what it is that they want to see at Frostburg, because then I take that up the chain to administration and say, hey, this is something that the students really want. How can we make this happen? And also focus in on like other groups of students. Like I've been working really heavily with our commuter students, how we have a fairly large population of commuter students here, and getting them involved too on campus, because I feel like there is a big disconnect, and a lot of them say, I'm going to come on campus, do my classes, and go home. And that's reasonable. I mean, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but definitely trying to connect everybody and get them more acclimated into Frostburg. And yeah, just going above and beyond, figuring out what they want. And I feel like just executing it too, like following through with the mission.
Exactly. So it's like, you have the idea, like the blueprint, and then once the blueprint is generated, then you actually follow through and execute to bring it to life. So
right.
I like that. That's
yeah.
Great. So in what ways do you think creativity can influence the student leadership, like the other branches of the Student Government Association, just other student leaderships as well? Because I'm a resident assistant at Edgewood Commons, and a lot of things we do over here, we have to be creative. Like we have to do bulletin boards every month. We have to come up with different programs to get our residents involved. So I guess I'm kind of, in a sense, asking for, not, I don't want to say advice, but advice on different ways to generate new ideas and everything. There's a lot of resources out there. Frostburg State University, not being a big fan of Chat GPT, but I can say it's helped me create and generate new ideas that I probably wouldn't have thought of on my own. So are there any ways that you would like to share different ways that you create and generate ideas or creativity?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I really enjoy like sitting down and listening to others and having that conversation and discussion of what is it that everybody wants to do. And I feel like you bring a unique aspect and I would bring a unique aspect, and everybody is on the team. So coming together and brainstorming those ideas, this isn't a one-person show. This involves everybody. I always make sure I'm getting everybody included to make their voice heard too. And I just want to hear what they want. And, that allows everybody to be creative. And specifically in SGA. So we have a different committee, like the Public Relations Committee. They do all of our advertising and marketing. Our Public Relations Chair, Kyle Ganson, he's done a phenomenal job so far. and we just let him have his creative freedom, on social media. Let him take it the way that he wants to. Like, this is no structure from, SGA's Instagram a year ago or 5 years ago. Do what it is, how you like to be creative, and I'm here to support that. So I think just supporting everybody and coming together and just putting it all together, listening to everybody's voice.
See, I like to think of it as, I don't want to say like a salad, but a salad in a sense where you got different ingredients. You got the lettuce, you got somebody bringing the tomatoes, somebody bringing the onions, and then when it all comes together, it's just this unique, eloquent dish that everybody brings their own piece to it and to make it what it is. So I do appreciate you telling me that and sharing that information with me, and I will be using that in my future endeavors in all aspects of my life. So do you mind talking about SGA's mission or anything you guys have planned coming up for the upcoming semester or the rest of the year?
Of course. So SGA's mission right now, we're just really trying to hear the voices. There's a lot going on campus between our professors and the administration here at Frostburg. So we're really trying to educate students on what that means, the vote of no confidence against the president of the university, Dr. Nowacek, and really we're not taking any sides. We just kind of want to use this platform as educating the students on what this means and get their opinions about it. How do they feel about this? And take that up to the president of the university and tell him this is how students are feeling too, whether it be one way or another, and just relaying their voices, because that's really important. That's how they get their voices heard. And without students, we won't have the professors or the president of the university. So right.
Itself, yeah.
So the students were the most important part. So really, we're just trying to get everybody's voices and figuring out what it is that we can do, because we're in a lot of challenges right now, not even just the vote of no confidence, but with the budget constraints. Everybody knows that budgets are getting cut, and we're all kind of a little bit concerned and confused, and really just trying to figure out how do the students feel about this, the budget's going here and there. But our mission is just to really let everybody be heard.
Is there any events or anything that us as students should be looking forward to coming up, sponsored by SGA or just in general?
Absolutely. So SGA, we're in 2 weeks holding a safety and accessibility walk on campus where we go around, we check the lights on campus, making sure that every area is well lit at night, making sure that we have enough cameras outside, making sure that there's no cracks in the sidewalks, that all the handicap buttons going into any building works, and just making sure that our campus is safe and accessible for every person who visits our campus. So that's coming up. That's October 10th, directly following our SGA meeting. That's really important for all students. Also, the alternative break application is still open. I'm not sure if you guys are very familiar with the alternative winter break, but every year Frostburg takes a big group of students down to New Orleans, Louisiana for about a week, and they help to rebuild the homes that have been impacted by the hurricanes. I've been twice now, and it is the most incredible experience ever. You get to go in and you get to meet the homeowners, and the story is so devastating that they had their livelihood taken away from them overnight in a hurricane. But what we do is we go in and literally almost transform these homes. Last year we had people gutting the inside of homes. They were laying insulation. We laid drywall. We did the prime and the sand and the mudding on the walls, making the walls look like the walls, laying flooring. So we went into these homes when they were basically empty in the beginning of the week, and on Friday they had brand new flooring and drywall in. So it's really incredible, and you don't need any construction experience because they teach you all that. They supply all the materials. And going away from that, I think that I'm confident to speak on behalf of all the students who have been. It's the most incredible and inspiring kind of like experience of your life. And I would definitely make sure you get your application in by Tuesday, because that's when it's due.
Just going Tuesday. Is there like a limit or how many students could come?
I believe there is. I'm not sure off the top of my head what they cap the amount as, but I do want to also let you know it's between $200 and $400 per student, and that includes the round trip flight, the food, the stay. So it's a really good deal, and it's the most rewarding experience. So
you said it's over the winter break. Would that be in December or January?
It's usually the second week of January. Yep.
Okay. So you talked about how you were a senior. Do you yourself have any goals or plans coming up for when you graduate, or like what's next for you after Frostburg State?
I do. So actually, like an hour ago, I actually just put my application into the National Security Agency and just finished my application. So I'm really looking into getting into the government jobs, trying to get a clearance, and I really just want to protect and serve my country, whether that be with NSA, whether I go into the military. So I have a lot. I have a lot of ideas. There's nothing set right now, but the end goal is just serving the country.
Wow, that was great.
Thank you.
With that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. Did you want to give any shout outs to anybody? Shout out your Instagram, the SGA, anything, anybody that you want to, give a platform to right here.
Of course, I just want to first give a super big shout out to everybody in Creative Minds, specifically for having me here today and for everything you guys do on campus. You guys are one of our most active organizations on campus, and you guys really make sure that every student has creative freedom. So you guys are absolutely amazing. And just shout out to all of our wonderful students here on campus, because we couldn't do this without you guys, and I look forward to doing everything I can to help you guys here in the future.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the president herself. Any questions, comments, concerns? This is the face that you want to come to see. With that being said, My Business Podcast is signing out.
Thank you guys.
I remember when I first felt creative, yeah, my mind started going all different type of places. That